Hey, welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. I'm your host, JR, and with me is Zach Guggenheim as we are going to discuss the recent comments by Lou Holtz about Ryan Day. Yes, folks, the Lou Holtz and Ryan Day beef continues. They are in the national championship game. Well, not they. Ryan Day's in the national championship game. Lou Holtz is watching from afar. I think he said he's not even going to the game at this point, but Lou Holtz is obviously cheering on his Notre Dame Fighting Irish as he should. As he pointed out earlier this week, he has a statue of himself built there, and he has some words about Ryan Day that he wants to say in his tweet, and I will read that tweet for you. Now, he also posted a video in the tweet that was about 5 minutes long. I was not overly entertained by the video, so I'm not going to play the entire video for you in this episode, but we will discuss kind of some of the stuff he said and get through this whole beef and everything that's going on. Zach, I'm going to read his tweet and then I'll turn it over to you. Lou Holtz said on January 15th, Ohio State has the talent, but Notre Dame has the heart, the culture, and the defense to win this game. Stay patient, run the football, and trust the process. Notre Dame wins a close one by 3. Remember, we're Notre Dame and they ain't. Zach, your thoughts?
First of all, I feel like I didn't have a Ryan Day, Lou Holtz altercation on my 2025 bingo card, but surprisingly, I'm like all
to
for
be
it.
fair, did anybody have it on their 2023 bingo card? I don't think this was ever on anybody's bingo card.
Who knew that I needed more Lou Holtz and Ryan Day? Let's be fair. I've mentioned the meme before of Godzilla and Ken Watanabe saying, "Let them fight."
Yep.
That's what I want. Just forget the coin toss. We determine who defers by who wins a fight between Lou Holtz and Ryan Day. I think that would be amazing, and Lou Holtz can tap somebody in. Here's what I really wish. Why does it have to be Lou Holtz? Why can't it be Mark May? Like someone that I really do want to have vitriol towards. Like Lou is a sweet old man. Yes, there's stories of him wanting to beat guys up like Jimmy Johnson in the tunnel. But I don't want that image of Lou Holtz. I want kind, sweet, suffering succotash Lou Holtz.
You want Grandpa Holtz. You want to look at him
yes,
as a grandfatherly figure that you walked into Grandma and Grandpa's house and he said, "Sit down on my lap. Let's watch some football together, young man."
Yes. It's hard to it's hard to hate. So I think it's funny, but I will say this, and I tweeted this out. I feel like it's a bad idea if you're the underdog to poke the bear. And it's one thing, they could have gone for the toughness thing, and that's not where he went this time. He said they don't have heart. I don't think that's going to get under Ohio State's skin. I just think they're going to, I think they're just going to be like, are you seriously going to question our culture? And they're just I think it's going to give them more of an edge. And that's the last thing that they need right now is more of an edge.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, Ohio State comes into this game too fired up, and they get a bunch of penalties, which that would be a pretty good thing for Notre Dame if that happened for them. But yeah, I mean, it's clear Lou Holtz here is just he's just trying to continue to have fun with it. Do I think Lou Holtz was sincere back in 2023 when he called Ryan Day and Ohio State soft and everything like that? I do. I think that he was trying to give Notre Dame some props and also trying to take a shot at the other team, which is fine. Trash talk is always a thing, but the thing I don't like is when the double standard happens, which is everybody praises Lou Holtz for his trash talk, and then Ryan Day comes out after the fact and they're like, elder abuse, and it's like, okay, if you don't want to fight, don't step in the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
like, is it really Ryan Day's fault if he punches an old man in the ring? Obviously, this is metaphorically. If the old man stepped in the ring and said, "You're soft," I look at it and I'm like, Lou Holtz, he's poking the bear here. He doesn't actually mean anything that he's saying. No person with a mind about this year's college football would be able to say that Notre Dame has far and away much better culture that would defeat Ohio State and how much talent they have. Notre Dame has far and away much better heart. Notre Dame has far and away much better trusting the process, like all this stuff that he says. If Notre Dame wins this game, it's because Ohio State beat themselves. It's not
Yep.
because Ohio State's not tough or anything like that. The only way Notre Dame wins this game is if Ohio State beats themselves. Congratulations, you didn't win the national championship. If you do, I don't think you will. If you do, it's not that you won the national championship, it's that the other team lost.
Well, and oh man, I have so many thoughts off that. Let me.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
minute. Yeah.
with all the Notre Dame people, and not so much everybody. Like there are definitely Notre Dame fans out there that respect the talent of Ohio State, and they are hoping for a good game plan in a game in the fourth quarter and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't think I'm being disrespectful here when I say Notre Dame is a very well coached team. Their good coaching can take advantage of Ohio State's mistakes, but good coaching is not going to overtake Ohio State if they don't make mistakes. Yeah. They require Ohio State to make mistakes in this game to win, and Lou Holtz is just one of those guys that he's hoping and praying for it right now because that's the only way what he's predicting will come true.
Yeah. Well, and I think at this point, like he's having fun. He's a Notre Dame elder statesman. I think anybody who after the press conference that Ryan Day had, they asked him, has he talked to Lou Holtz? And he's just like, no. And
that's all he said too. He didn't expand on it. He just said no.
And then everybody's like, oh, he's soft. And I'm like, listen, we both have been very, very critical of Ryan Day this year and his entire tenure. Like, you can't lose 4 straight to Michigan. We've said that. We've been very clear on that. Some of the stuff that people get on Ryan Day for is just so stupid. And I think, honestly, it's just because he's the head coach of Ohio State. And Ohio State is very unlikable. And by the way, if they win the national championship, they will be even more unlikable, especially down south, because the SEC, Paul Feinbaum said it, the SEC looks at Ohio State as the big bad bully now because they've weaponized their NIL, which is like, shocker. Of course they did. That's what the SEC's been doing for millennia now, as long as they knew how to have under the table payments, right?
Right.
But I think everybody was like, oh, for sure, he's he's soft and he still holds a grudge. I'm like, guys, he got asked a stupid question at a press conference. And like, why would he talk to Lou Holtz? Like, yes, Lou Holtz was on Ohio State staff back when Woody Hayes was the coach. Do you know how long ago Woody Hayes was the coach? 47 years. Like, that was when Lou Holtz was on the staff. Actually, before that. Like, there's no reason why Lou Holtz and Ryan Day would talk. Like, who cares? I don't understand why this thing, like, back to your point about Lou Holtz, people getting on Ryan Day for criticizing Lou Holtz after the game. It's like, it was heat of the moment. It was a tough ball game. They proved they were tough. Cool. Move on. But like, this dumb ageism thing has just, I don't understand it. There's a lot of reasons to criticize Ryan Day. This is not one of them.
I mean, you're exactly right. People criticize Ryan Day because he's the head coach of Ohio State, and I do think that there is an aspect of this as well with Lou Holtz where he is trying to criticize Ryan Day because he wants Ryan Day to try and prove that he's tough against Notre Dame and prove that his team is tough against Notre Dame, and that's obviously what he was trying to do against Michigan and part of the reason why they lost. Another reason is they weren't able to pass the ball in that game. You're obviously not going to be able to run the ball if you're not able to pass the ball. Also, if there's 2 NFL caliber defensive tackles on the other team, that makes it difficult as well. But like that is what Lou Holtz is trying to do here. He's trying to have some fun, but he's also in a fun way trying to get Ryan Day to respond. So that way at the end of the game, he comes back and says, oh, you thought we weren't tough. Here we are. to get a reaction out of him again. For as much as Ryan Day says that him and his team don't pay attention to the media, don't pay attention to what they say and everything else, it's obvious they do. They reference what the media says in their interviews. Ryan Day comes out with the Lou Holtz thing at the end of the Notre Dame game last year. Like, this is a team that does listen to what people say about them, and I think every team does, but this team in particular, they are trying to destroy narratives so far this season, which to me only gives them more heart and more culture that they're going to be utilizing in this game. I don't know how you utilize culture. Maybe I just have never been on a good enough culture team, but I tell you what, I had a lot of guys I had a really good time with in high school on my baseball team, and we hung out with each other all the time, and we wanted to play hard and we wanted to win every single game. But guess what, Zach? We didn't win all that many games because we weren't very talented. So we went to a school with 100 kids in our graduating class, and we were playing schools that had 400, 500 kids in their graduating class. Math says if you have 400, 500 kids, there's going to be more athletic kids that are going to be better at that sport than the other class. And so my high school baseball team stunk. Not because we weren't culture, not because we didn't have heart, but because we didn't have talent. Or as much talent. I don't want to disparage my brothers.
Oh, man.
But what do you think? Do you think Lou Holtz's words are going to get to Ryan Day enough to make him try to prove he's tough?
No. If he had come out, because he even said they're plenty tough now, and I think that the difference between a year ago and now.
Oh my gosh, Minnesota just won. Wow. Okay, I know we're recording. I'm sorry. They just hit a buzzer beater 3 from like half court. Wow. Okay, that tells you when we're recording this. Sorry, Zach. Go ahead.
I think the problem now in trying to goad them into that is that they've proved it. Like they played Tennessee, Oregon, and Texas, the number 7, number 1, and number 3 teams, all of whom have first-round talent on the defensive line. By the way, that's not something that Notre Dame has.
No. But Howard Cross is their best defensive lineman, and I'm not even sure he's I haven't checked round of drafts lately, but
day 3.
He's day 3 tops, I think.
Yeah. Which that's not meant to be a knock on them. Like, I think their strength is they play team defense, but like, and people are already saying it, which I hate, but if Ohio State completes this, it is the greatest accomplishment by a team winning a national championship of all time. Now it'll be trumped, next year, or at least even next year, because someone else will have to go through that gauntlet.
I don't think it will, though. I don't think it's a guarantee. It can, but
yeah, it's fair.
I don't think it's a guarantee that a team is the 8 seed, beats the 9 seed, beats the 1 seed, beats the 5 seed, and then beats the what is Notre Dame? The 7 seed.
The 7 seed.
I mean, I guess the only tougher path would be you beat the 2 seed, but
yeah. Well, but if you go,
somebody like Texas beating, and I'm not trying to disparage these teams, somebody like Texas beating Clemson, who was a 12 seed, and then Arizona State, who, yes, they are the 3 seed, but let's be honest, they were the 12, or what were they? What seed were they before? They were the 4 seed, but let's be honest, they were the 12 seed, or the 12th ranked team.
Yep.
They just got that seed for, because of the way seeding works. But like, if a team wins out of that easier bracket, or a team wins with a bye, none of the teams who had a bye this year won, or a team wins with a bye, you're looking at a situation where they didn't play as many games, or they had 2 easier games than what Ohio State had to enter it.
Yeah. Ohio State will have played, well, and this is going by rankings, not seeding, but they played number 7, number 1, number 3, and now they are playing number 5.
And in the regular season, they beat number 8,
number 4,
and what is Penn State?
Number 8, 4 and 8.
So they've beaten 6 of the top 8 ranked teams if they beat Notre Dame, correct?
Yeah. The only one they will not have beaten is Georgia.
And Notre themselves.
Yeah. And so Notre Dame when they played Georgia, it was with a backup quarterback. So Georgia had a backup quarterback. But anyway, I say that.
Actually, you know what? That you could make an argument they did beat themselves in that Michigan game. So they beat 7 of the 8. Just kidding. Go ahead.
That was I don't know how I feel about that now.
Tweet that one later. We'll
just
see.
had to bring that up, didn't you? So in all seriousness though, I think because Ohio State's proven it, it doesn't matter as much. And I think anybody that says they don't have heart, I mean, again, I feel like that's self-evident. So like I feel like Ryan Day, and I think this is where there was legitimate criticism. Ryan Day got frustrated because he was insecure. He was insecure about their toughness. And so it's like, I got to prove that we're tough. I don't think something about winning tough games makes you secure in that. But I think more so like he sees what's in that locker room about their culture. It's like, at some point it's like, oh, this crackpot of a former coach is, I'm not sorry, that's demeaning of Lou Holtz, but like, you'd be like, this guy, he doesn't know what's going on in this locker room. He doesn't matter. And yeah. I just don't think there's a criticism that can get under Ryan Day's skin. Now you can use it for motivation. And I'll tell you, the person who actually, that I think hates this the most is Marcus Freeman.
Wow, that's good. That could be true.
Because the last thing that Marcus Freeman needs is someone talking smack about Ohio State and like giving them any more of an edge. Because like Marcus Freeman
his cornerback kind of did it though. Like, did you see what Leonard Morris or Moore?
Leonard Moore.
Did you hear what he said?
I just knew he said we're not going to change what we do.
Yeah, he said something like, we're not going to change what we do in man coverage. I'll have to look up what the exact quote was, but it was essentially like, we're not going to change what we do in man coverage, and like, we're going to stop them. I don't know if he said quote unquote we're going to stop them, but let me look it up here in a second. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with a corner having confidence. But it's a bold thing. But I'll tell you, I was looking Leonard Moore up. I didn't realize he's 6'2" and 195 pounds. And I'm like, if you're going to have anybody match up with Jeremiah Smith, not saying he will do a perfect job, but he's got the length and the skill to do it, at least to maybe contain him. I doubt they just single him up though. I would imagine they'll shade a safety his way.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously Marcus Freeman is going to instill trust in his guys. He's going to trust them, but Marcus Freeman also isn't stupid. Like, Marcus Freeman also has watched enough Ohio State game film to say, like, yeah, going man on man versus Jeremiah Smith is not a good idea for the entire game. Can we do it sometimes? Can we change things up? Maybe catch him off guard? Sure. Do I believe in my corners to maybe go 50% of the time? Sure. But they've been going like 60, 70% of the time in man coverage. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. You're going to lose in man coverage eventually if you do it that often against Ohio State, not against every team. Leonard Moore said, we're going into this game. We're not going to change who we are. We're going to play man coverage like we do every week.
Yeah, that's pretty benign. It's pretty benign.
So not really bulletin board material, but go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think we see the return of the mesh concept in this game with a lot of 100%. Man coverage?
100%. Ryan Day made his living off beating man when he first came to Ohio State. I mean, everybody who tried to play him tried to do man against them, and it never worked. So, and if the offensive line for Ohio State can hold off. That was another big thing that happened against Texas. Their defensive line got pressure on Will Howard. There were plays where Jeremiah Smith was running open. Yep. But Will Howard never had the chance to get it to him because those are long developing plays. He had that time against Tennessee and he had that time against Oregon. He didn't have that time against Texas because they had a lot of simulated blitzes and their defensive line is just really, really good.
Yeah.
Not to say Notre Dame's isn't, but like you pointed out, Notre Dame's doesn't really have like a NFL caliber pass rusher. Not NFL caliber, like top tier NFL caliber pass rusher.
Yeah.
Bryce Young is very good, but he's just a freshman. And then who's the guy on the other side? I forget his
Is
name.
it Kaliakamaka or something?
Yeah, the linebacker that will come down and play edge sometimes. Yeah, he's also a very good rusher.
Yeah. I'll say I forget who it was, but they were showcasing what's worked against Notre Dame's defense. And he was showing clips of USC and Louisville. And I was just watching some of the plays, and I'm like, am I watching USC or am I watching Ohio State play Oregon? Because a lot of those plays, it was counter, it was the throwback, it was a lot of concepts that Ohio State has been explosive on. And like that was what has worked against Notre Dame when they have struggled defensively. And I'm like, man, I know we're getting more back to ball talk and not Holtz and Day, but the more I break the game, and this is what scares me as a Buckeye fan, is I'm like, the more I logically look at this game and this game flow, I'm like, unless if Ohio State comes in and just butchers it, I can't see a clear pathway for a Notre Dame victory. Doesn't mean it can't happen. I don't see it.
Yeah. The way that we've said it multiple times before is that Ohio State has far more paths to victory than Notre Dame has. Obviously, Notre Dame can, muck those up and change those with the way they play and good coaching. But the truth of the fact is that, as we pointed out in our last video, which go watch that if you want to hear Notre Dame's path to victory, they have to do everything in that path to victory. You can't leave anything out in that. At the end of the day, if Ohio State just plays their game and plays their, B- game, it's going to take a perfect game from Notre Dame to win. And that, not to say it can't happen, obviously it can happen. It's just unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
So
agreed.
All right. Anything else on Lou Holtz, Zack?
No, I really, honestly, just for the sake of the mock trial or mock, fight, I really want him to be an honorary captain. Let him come out, maybe like flip the coin.
And then whoever it lands on, that person gets the first punch or something.
Yeah. The commemorative coin should have one face being Lou Holtz and the other face being Ryan Day.
How would Marcus Freeman feel about that? Marcus Freeman wouldn't like that, though.
No, he'd love it because then he'd be like, I'm being disrespected. Here we go.
Okay. All right.
He'd see it as an edge.
Okay.
Or, you could have Jim Tressel and Lou Holtz on
no,
that.
Tress would never do that.
That's fair.
Tress would never run his mouth. He's got a podcast. He talks more than Lou Holtz does, and he's getting Marcus Freeman on his podcast. He's getting Ryan Day on his podcast.
To be fair, I think Marcus is far more Tressel-esque in his coaching than Ryan Day is. So,
oh yeah, this is going to be a Tressel game. If they win it, it's going to be a Tressel game. So
Tressel special.
Tressel special. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time you watch again. Have a good one.